The Fwog meme coin on Solana more than doubled in the last month. Now the question is, who's buying, who's selling, how much longer can this rally last? Can we potentially double yet again? Let's have a look at the potential upside by comparing to other meme coins. Let's also have a look at on-chain metrics. Let's look at data most people aren't considering. So we're currently at 24 cents per Fwog token. We are up 111% in the last month. And the reason why Fwog is so interesting is because it's the 5th largest of the tokens in terms of liquidity among the trending tokens on Solana. Now, when the price goes up like this, we obviously see profit taking. Now, when we take profit, we obviously pull out more money from the system than we put in. In other words, as the price rises very quickly, we need more and more buyers getting in compared to the sellers. So this is the long-term Fwog chart. And today the price is going up only by 2%, although the number of buyers exceeds the number of sellers by roughly 170 on chain. So the buy and sell volume is almost equal, but the number of buyers exceeds the number of sellers because the sellers now have more money to sell, right? The price went up so much, and so just a little bit of profit taking can depress the rally quite a bit. Now on this channel, I like to look at on-chain metrics. So let's start off with the charts here. On the left side, we see the number of recurring traders versus first-time traders over time. And unfortunately, we don't see that the number of first-time traders is growing that quickly. In other words, initially we had more than 1,000 new wallets trading Fwog per day, but now we are down to maybe 500, but we can't ignore the current data point, the 29th, because today is not yet over. It looks even more dramatic in the number of token transactions. That topped on the 6th of October and is going down very consistently since then. Now the 6th of October was over here. Since then the price still appreciated by 40%. So that then begs the question, who is buying here? What's pushing up the price? It appears as if the large money is getting more involved. The trading volume by the whales is increasing, at least relatively speaking. So on the left side, we see the trading volume in US dollars per day. On the right side, we see this normalized to 100%. And we don't see that many waves in the trading volume, which is good, because this tells us that the appreciation is relatively constant and that this is not just hype driven. It's not just short-term attention that's pushing up the price. And what we also see is that the whale and large retail wallets tend to take up more and more of the trading volume. So initially it was rather 5% or so of trading volume. Now it's between 10 and 15%. Now let's have a look at the number of holders segregated by different cohorts. But before we do this, one more thing. I've published a video on Fwog before on this channel. And initially the video actually did not perform that well. It underperformed the typical video. A typical video is in gray in the background. The blue line is the performance of that first Fwog video. And we can see that then the performance caught up somewhat. Now why is that? It's because the price went up. So we went from 12 cents to now 24 cents, right? We doubled in the price. And so that's an effect we see pretty often in YouTube. When a token is not yet popular, when it's actually a good investment, that's when nobody is watching. Once a token appreciates and more people search for the token, that's potentially when things can get heated. Here are the videos that work on YouTube. XRP will be $12,000 guaranteed, or an AI explosion, top 3 cryptos to buy in November. A lot of pushing of greed, that's what gets the clicks. What doesn't get the click is a tutorial on how to make backtests, on how to build those sheets that in the end figure out what historically worked well in the past. The backtest that I often show here on this channel. I still very much enjoy producing this kind of content though. I also share these kinds of sheets, but I don't do it on YouTube. You also get direct access to me. Feel free to check it out. It's thebitcoinstrategy.com. So the best price is always when we are early, right? The best price is when a token is not yet that popular. But unfortunately, the YouTube algorithm is against us. So feel free to subscribe, potentially even hitting notifications, because I publish videos regularly. I try to be early and I discuss various meme coins regularly over here. Now let's go back to the on-chain analytics of Fwog. On the left side, we see the number of wallets that have at least 4,000 Fwog tokens. So at the current price, that's a bit under $1,000 worth of the token. In the middle, we go at 10x from that. So that's a minimum holding of roughly $10,000. On the right, we've got the whales, so roughly $100,000 worth of the token. We can see how retail adoption tends to grow over time. We can also see how the number of medium-sized retail tends to slightly grow. The number of whale wallets is somewhat stagnant. Now, because the whales are not taking profit and it appears they're rather getting more involved over time, that's why we see a relatively stable rally. Now, we can also look at this in terms of fractions of how much value is held by those different cohorts. And again, we see how the smart money, how the whales, they buy up more and more of the token. Large retail has less and less of the token. Medium retail also has less and less of the token. And the same is true for small retail. So even though the number of small retail wallets is increasing, they are not increasing fast enough compared to how quickly the big whales that are already in the token accumulate the token. So it's the big money that buys up very, very fast. The whale holdings went from 30 million at the end of September of this year all the way up to 157 million. So that's more than a 5x, but when we look at small retail, they increased their holding much less. That went from 1.4 million to 2.3 million, not even a doubling. So the smart money continues to accumulate, the smart money buys more and more, and that makes me pretty optimistic. And so then the big question is, if the whales continue accumulating the token, at the same time retail buys as well, how much potential upside is there? At what point in time could this actually turn around? And at what point in time will people take profit? Let's compare market caps. Fwog has a market cap of 233 million. Now that's not really large. We can easily double or triple and we'd still be smaller than Turbo or Book of Meme. We could quadruple and we'd be in the regions of SPX 6900 or memecoin. Only at a 5x or 6x would we get into the Bretts and Flokis of this world. And that's of course quite a bit of a stretch. But a doubling or tripling, or in other words 50 cents or 75 cents, I believe is quite realistic. Now instead of looking at the entire meme coin market, we can also have a look at simply the Fwog themed coins. And even in that market, a tripling is definitely possible. Again, we would get into regions of Turbo and we'd still be below Brett and Pepe. Now crypto is both a game of luck and skill. And the more the game is played, the more accumulates towards the people that have skill. That's why we follow the whales, right? When the whales are buying, that's very positive. Now, what I also like to do is I like to track whales and I like to track influencers. So when an influencer buys a token, and very often afterwards they might promote that token. And when the token gets promoted, say on YouTube, a lot of new attention comes onto the token, pushing up the price. Now, I personally never do this. I never buy a token before publishing a video. However, a lot of others do it. And that's why I track those wallets. And so have a look at this. This comes from the premium membership. It's part of this channel. It's down below, thebitcoinstrategy.com. And in here, we are tracking various influencers. For example, Kyle Chessy, that bought the Fwog token already on the 30th of July. So that was at 0.15 cents or at 0.2 cents. It was on the very first day the token got traded. Since then, we are up more than 1000%. And so of course, not every trade works that well, but still it's good to follow the smart money. Those 10x returns don't just happen randomly. And so we always get automatic alerts whenever Kyle Chessy is buying. We've got 12 of his wallets. We track more than 400 wallets. We've also got 33 wallets by Crypto Banter, a YouTube channel with more than 1 million subscribers. Over here, this is Alex Becker. We've got 12 of his wallets. He's also got, I believe, 1 million subscribers. Or have a look at this. Paulo.sol, not necessarily an influencer, but a very, very successful trader. He bought Brett, for example, very, very early. And so in Premium, there's even a dedicated video course on just how to find those wallets, but also how to track them and how to then interpret those signals. So there's 8 dedicated videos just on that topic. And besides that, there are more than 100 other tutorials as well on how to manage risk, on how to construct a portfolio, on how to do on-chain analytics, etc. You will also get access to this tool together with a tutorial video so you can plug in your own tokens into this and make your own conclusions. So feel free to check it out. There are of course also individual altcoin chats where we discuss when to buy and when to sell. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like what you see, just message me within the first week and I will refund you 100%. So to sum it all up, I believe that the Fwog rally is pretty solid. Retail is buying and the whales are buying even faster and the whales tend to make the better calls. Now, if you got some value out of this video, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well, helps the channel grow. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video or in Premium. Cheers!